welcome everybody to episode 6. I believe it's 6 of the Tribe. We're back, we're live, and we've got a full house today. We've got Brian Carr. Welcome, buddy. Glad you could be here.
My way.
And we've got. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Good to be here, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Who are you talking to?
Always talking over each other. That's what I do. We also have El Spooky Zorro. We've got Rob here. How's it going, Rob? Glad you could be here.
Thank you.
And we also have our good friend Brick. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm always happy to talk AWOK. So
absolutely. I'm glad everybody could be here. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us, and as we sort of shift around when we're going to record. We've been trying to, summer is that time where, people get caught up with their families and people are on vacation. So we were just trying to, as everybody's time sort of was being sort of like taken up with family stuff, we're trying to be mindful of everybody's family obligations. And so there was a little bit of slowdown in news as well. So we just decided, hey, we're just going to take it easy over the summer. Maybe back in the fall, coming up in the fall, we'll jump back on a more regular schedule as things start to quicken. But for right now, I think we're going to go to maybe a once a month. And I don't know if, 4 weeks from today, if we'll have another episode, because what we try to do is not have an episode on the same day as New to Mythics Live, because some of our people attend that today. We would have been doing it today. New to Mythics Live was planned for this morning from 9 to 12, but Greg took ill. He wasn't feeling good this week. So I'm even repping the Greg Smurber shirt in honor of our boy today, because he's under the weather. I was going to be on there. I was going to be pulling some duty there and then jumping off to do this, but he decided to pull New to Mythics. So we'll keep you posted when our next episode, but it's going to be in about a month. It may be in 3 weeks. It may be in 5 weeks, so that we're not, lining up with New to Mythics and, stealing the thunder, because sometimes that episode can go a little long. But today, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to be talking about Sparrow was at Joe Fest. I got to hang out with the guys at Joe Fest, so that was really cool. Brick, were you somewhere else at a different con while they were at Joe Fest?
Yeah, I was at my house con. No, as you were saying, I teach and people assume, oh, you got the summers off, but it's exactly what you said, man. Summer is when we pack in the reconnecting with life and catching up. So I was not able to go. I think the next thing I'm scheduled for will be Legion's Con.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So you got a good break. Yeah. I have worked at a major university for the last 14 years now, and everybody just assumes that I'm off. I'm not faculty or, in any kind of way. I'm staff, but they always think, I always have friends and family say, oh, well, you're off in the summers, right? Working for the university. I'm like, no, you have no idea. The universities are huge. They are big in the summer. They're cramming in sometimes 2, sometimes 3 semesters. You have graduations over the summer. Oh man, it's a lot of stuff. It's tough. We're going to get into a little bit of production updates that we got directly from Jason himself at Joe Fest. So that's really cool. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that we saw at Joe Fest. We've got some images. We're going to share our picks of the week from the community, things that we've seen that we love. We're going to mention the collab, Brian George's his photo AWOK collab. We're going to be mentioning that. We've got a behind the scenes update that Brick is going to be sharing with us on an upcoming figure that looks incredible. And then at the very end, we're going to briefly talk in a non-spoilery way about the newest comic book issue 6 for AWOK, which is kicking off a whole brand new story arc. Do not worry, we're not going to spoil it for you, but we're going to give it a little overview. We're also keeping it at the end to where if you want to read it yourself and you don't want to know anything at all, then we'll give you the fair warning for when you can hop off, and that way you get to enjoy the entire show. So let's kick things off with what's going on in the chat. Rob, do you mind saying hey to everybody in the chat?
Looks like we got Blake, William, Monarch Prime. We got Terrence, who should be in here with us. We got J Mac. Let's see who else. And Brian Carr, who's also on screen with us. And hopefully more people join in soon. But that's all we got.
Yeah, I'm gonna get caught
Morning,
up with
guys.
some of the. I needed to check the private chat. I saw some stuff coming through, but it looks like
Oh.
I don't have to do anything, so that's perfect. That's great. It looks like that pick was already chosen, and we get to tag team it. So that's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Terrence is here. I'm glad Terrence could make it. I know he's really busy on the weekends. So yeah, absolutely. Just checking in. Let's see. Optimus Car. I always forget that that's your IG name, man. Absolutely.
Me too. Especially
Had that for decades and decades and decades. No reason to change it.
Which is funny because, you know, when I think of you, I always think of you as like Motu Car. But sure. I think you're probably like in your collection, would you say you've got more Transformers or more Motu?
It's probably right down the middle. It's probably 50,
oh, really? Nice. Okay. Yeah, Blake's here. Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's see here. Let me get back to my notes. What are we doing first? So first I had a chance to catch up with the guys at Joe Fest last weekend. It's in Augusta, Georgia, which is only about 5.5 hours from me. I always like to go because I have a really good friend, Jason, who comes over. He's one of my, you know, everybody has like their core, like long time, you know, group of buddies, and Jason's one of mine, and he always comes over with his son from Nashville. We always get to hang out, but I got to hang out with Jason and Derek. It was so good to see them again. They had lots of really cool stuff at the booth. The first thing that they had that I really want to talk about is Bushido. This is actually really cool. So I actually thought, I guess maybe incorrectly, that I thought Bushido was like an existing IP, like that they had like somehow partnered with this. Like I was like, maybe this is like an anime or something, or a manga that I don't know about. But no, I did not realize that this is an original IP. Brick, can you talk us through this just, you know, briefly? Sure.
Yeah, you know, actually, so Spiro has been trying to like figure out what's next. And they, you know, Jason was really all about like, it's got to be something I'm really into. Dan, who folks may or may not know, Death Metal Dan on Instagram, is one of the main sculptors now on a lot of the AWOK stuff. And so, you know, he's a sculptor who does all sorts of stuff for Hasbro, you know, Spiro and a bunch of other folks. And he's had this thing, like this passion for Japanese, this sort of particular era and folklore. And he'd been developing this stuff and sort of just showed it to Jason. And Jason was just kind of bowled over and was like, dude, can we do this? Like, essentially, he's licensing it from Dan. And so this is, you know, just like it's Animal Warriors of the Kingdom by Jason Bienvenu. This is, you know, Bushido by Dan. And so this is his baby. And you'll see that it's kind of fueled by his love of samurai, of oni, and the likes, but also his love of maybe other pop culture that embraces this stuff. And I'll just name it. He loves One Piece, and if you know anything about One Piece, there's a character in there that feels reminiscent, or feels like there's some stuff going on. I guess inspired some of the figures here, some of the characters. And not just that. I mean, I see Kaido. There's a particular arc where they go to this island, Wano, that is very sort of feudal Japan-like. And anyway, that's what I'm assuming. And Dan's dope. He does like obviously we know his work is great. He did a bunch of the work that you see in the Kickstarter figures, and just like super humble, chill, but talented, creative mind that just wants to do more. And here you go. This is more.
Yeah. So are these the first 3 figures that we're going to be seeing from the wave? Will it just be these 3, or do we think maybe more is coming? Or
first wave, 3 figures, small wave. Actually, at Legion's Con, we had the 2 human figures and wanted to have the Oni there, but he wasn't quite ready. So this is the first time he was revealed in person. So
yeah, I kind of figured that was the first time because I don't remember seeing him anywhere else.
We had a spot for him at Legion's Con, but that spot wasn't filled.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just playing with graphics here, guys. Just forgive me while I'm doing this. But yeah, so Jason kind of walked me through this. So we kind of see like this hero style samurai character. I don't know if he's been given a name yet. If so, I don't know it. And then he talked about this larger scale like Oni demon. And then this guy, he's like, if you know One Piece. My kids know One Piece. I do not. So I apologize if I get this wrong, but I think this is kind of like a tribute maybe, or it's some inspiration from a character. Is his name Zoro? Is that correct?
Yeah, Roronoa Zoro. Yes.
Okay. All right.
He's known for...
I should default to Rob on all things Zoro related.
Oh,
I should.
Different Zoro, but yeah. Rob, you into One Piece?
Yes, I am. So yeah, when I first saw him, that's exactly who I thought. I was like, man, that guy looks like Zoro, and then went from there. So
there may or may not be. So Zoro is known for like his sword skills, period, but he's known for his 3-sword style and a bunch of other things, which includes a sword in the mouth, and that may or may not play into the development of this character. It has, it's just homage, that's all it is, but it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, these look great in person. I love samurai figures. I don't need them. I don't care if they're from an existing IP or something new and original. Like it does. I am just down for it. And let me ask this question, because this is something I forgot to ask Jason. But is there any possibility that their, let's say, accessories or maybe their armor would be compatible with AWOK? Is that possible?
I was wondering the same thing.
So it depends on size. So Bushido is a little bit on a different, they're smaller, right? This is funny to say now, given what else was revealed. But so AWOK, they're meant to be bigger. They're sort of anthropomorphic, transformed humans. And so when they're conceiving of this, they're thinking like more humans are going to be a little bit smaller. So it's probably more in line with a Joe Classified, Monster Force. I think it's maybe that tops of the heads are slightly taller, but they're not the same height. Therefore, a lot of the stuff may or may not fit. It just kind of remains to be seen. But they weren't designed to be compatible in that way, to put it more simply, but
nice. Okay.
Could maybe work.
Well, I can tell you what, I know Rob's going to try.
And I'll say, I'll also just say that, Jason definitely loves to, I think Derek actually put it really succinctly in the Toy Addicts video recently. He said, for the kids, ultimate playability, move them around, throw them around, they're great. For the adults, the customizing, switch them out, right? That sort of like new play format. And so these are definitely designed that way. But if you take a look at some of those, there are some things that are just sort of sculpted on body parts that aren't, removable armor. But then there's quite a bit that's going to be removable armor.
That's what I was going to ask. Like if the gauntlets and, on AWOK, you could remove the leg parts and the arm parts, but some of this looks like it's already sculpted on.
Yeah, some of it is. It's a mix. They're always sort of, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Or just that, like, they're always looking. Jason's always sort of looking and making decisions around that. Like, even if you look at AWOK, you'll notice that every now and then, there's a bicep that has a sculpted thing versus, there's some parts that have actually sculpted armor and parts. It's always just an aesthetic decision. But the cool thing is that when they do that, at least with AWOK, I don't know what the call is, because ultimately this is Dan's baby and how he wants to sort of art direct and creative direct it. But even when, especially now as we move forward in with the line, when AWOK designs parts that have like built-in armor, they're also sculpting in a armorless part. If that makes sense. They have it in the ready so that, for future reuse or whatever. So
if these are the smaller, like they're kind of on the smaller side, theoretically they could fit on the AWOK Speedster bucks, right?
Theoretically.
Yeah.
I think that's all Rob cares about anyway. I think
Rob just cares about a Samurai Fox.
Samurai Fox, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. It'll come. It'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew that was exactly
It's
what
either
Rob
going to
was
be
thinking.
Spiro or Lado Toy, Lado, with the women. So
Mm.
you'll get it. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
One question I
Nice.
have, Rick, if the one on the left, is that some based on that Onimusha, the old PlayStation game? Because
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of influences. Like at the end of the day, for all of this, the baseline for Dan, my understanding is like there's a particular book that I'm totally blanking on that he based a lot of his research on. So this was a historical a person who's like studied feudal Japan, samurai, etc., oni, yokai, the whole nine. And so he's pulling a lot of that from him, sort of digesting that material. Now, I don't know if I don't know to what extent he's also being influenced by other things. I know that the I've heard directly from the Spiro guys about the Zoro reference. I don't know about other stuff, and I've never actually played on the show. And Adam, yeah, you've got it pulling that stuff up.
Has the Kickstarter for this already begun? Did they start
This will not be a Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
This is you just being made available for pre-order. Originally, the plan was to have these pre-ordered much earlier than the current sort of schedule, but because of just delays in general, like the positioning of AWOK, and we haven't seen yet any of the figures from Kickstarter. It just didn't make sense to offer something else for pre-order. So that's where they're at. This will be a direct pre-order though, not a Kickstarter, not a fundraising campaign.
Very nice. That's really cool. Oh man, Van Johnson, you're the best, dude. Super chat. If it is Sparrow, go all in every time. 100%. Absolutely. You will not go wrong. Yeah, I missed out on the initial AWOK Kickstarter, and I will not make any of that mistake ever again. It's just now seeing how I've gone back and bought everything in the line, I'm like, man, I should have. Where was I? Where was my head? Also on display there, we saw the new prototypes for some of the brawlers and some of the upcoming lizards that are coming out. These look so incredible in person. We have the Void. We've got the larger brawler scale. Is that what you guys are calling them? Brawler scale?
The brawlers, yeah.
Yeah, the brawler Emperor Kali.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got, I'm going to blank on the names. Brick, what do you guys call them?
Where do you go? Oh, so from the left, Void, then Kali Prime, right? Yeah. Middle is King Hannibal. That is, oh my God, begins with a C. I'm totally blanking. Same with you. Wait, I'll get there. And then, oh my God, I'm blanking on both. I can't.
It's okay.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. No,
these were out. I believe these were out on Friday, and then on Saturday, I took this picture. And if you kind of notice, back behind the chameleon, kind of sneakily added right there, back behind there, is the prototype for the human pale figure. So I did want to
human pale figure. What are you talking about? Humans?
What are we talking about?
Real quick, let me catch up. Sorry, Corvius is the dude on the far right, the blue one. Gresh is the chameleon.
Yeah, they look so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these were put out on Saturday, and so basically what you have here is you have a human pale, you have a cardinal named Merrill, and then you have the human Kali. And all I'm going to say is if you want to know why there are human versions of Pale and Kali, then the best thing for you guys to do is head over to sparrow.com, click on the comics section, and download the digital versions of all of the comics. I don't know, is issue 1 still free or?
Spirotoys.com. And, there was an issue last week that I think we fixed now. Yes, I know we fixed. Adam told me that. So they're all available. Let me double check, though. In the fixing of that issue, because for a while it was saying sold out, I don't know what the price.
I know that they're all like $1.99. for the first 5, but I
It's
didn't know if,
listed
like,
for
if-
number 1. It's $1.99. There was a code that was floating out there for a while that Jason
Okay.
was handing out for the free. Maybe Adam, if he's still in the chat, if you could let us know if that still exists. And Adam has never shied away from sharing number 1.
Exactly.
First one's
Van
free.
says the iguana is going to be a PGG army builder. Finally, Nate's lizard army will be complete. I love that. I get a Terrence says I get a very Lost Boys Kiefer Sutherland when seeing Human Pale. Absolutely, and maybe a Danzig on
Maggots,
Human
Michael.
Kali. Yeah.
You're eating maggots.
Human Pale would make a great emo custom. Yeah, no, these look great. We're not going to go into detail here because we want you guys to go support the guys over there. And listen, Sparrow does absolutely, definitely need your support, especially now more than ever. Go, if there are any figures that you guys have missed out on, pick up the figures, right? If you're like me and you've bought them all, and you don't have something to quote unquote buy, and you have all the comics and you've read all the comics, buy a shirt, buy a t-shirt. They've got lots of really cool shirts available. Definitely go and support these guys. Maybe pick up an extra weapons pack or an extra ancient, for an army builder. Head over there and pick them up, help them out. Because they need some help right now. We need to throw all the love and support their way. So we can see more of these figures in the future. Most definitely.
Totally. And let me I just saw that Solo Center, what's up, man? Saying that it is Blight, not Kali. That is right. If I missed it, I don't know if that was mentioned that it's Kali. That is definitely Blight. But if you're following the lore, whether it's Blight or Pale or Kali as a question is a tricky question in the lore of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
Yes, I
But
see
that is
exactly
definitely
what he's
Blight.
saying.
That is definitely Blight.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, there's boy, that's a tricky one. That is definitely a tricky one.
Yeah, and they're fun.
William, when you say you're wondering what their actual height is, are you talking about the human versions of these characters or the AWOK figures in general?
Like in real life?
Are you talking about the Bushido figures? Just let me know. Jason switches the free issue on and off whenever he feels like it.
Sorry, dude.
Oh, go ahead. Jump in there anytime, man.
No, I was saying I'm 6'1". I was telling you.
I'm pretty sure I'm the short one in the group. I'm like 5'8". So, yeah. So yeah, absolutely. These are looking great. Merrill, the Cardinal. Man, we're going to be talking about him a lot in just a minute. We're going to get through some of our picks, but we're going to come back to Merrill.
Can I ask before we sort of zoom through? I would love to hear, like Brian, I would love to hear folks, what were your reactions when you sort of saw this stuff revealed? I know I was home too, but I'm just curious for the rest of the panel.
When I was waiting for the pictures all weekend. I was waiting for pictures to pop up, and luckily Mark took some and sent some, and some popped up. And I've been as excited as I was for all the figures that have come already. I'm even more excited for all the future ones, just because it seems like they've even gone to another level of sculpting, detail. The characters are just so much more diverse. And then seeing Merrill, I mean, the soft goods on him, even before even getting to that, there's the sculptures of the brawlers. The sculpts look even better than I thought they would, more detailed than I thought they would. The Gresh looks amazing. Everybody looks great. But then you get to Merrill, and those soft goods are just, I mean, they're Mythic Legion style. They're even maybe a step above. They look phenomenal. And I could not be more excited for every single figure that's coming down the pike.
Nice. Senor Zorro?
Yeah, I was pretty excited when I saw these. And then it just made me think, man, these comics are just going to get crazier and crazier because we really haven't gotten to that part of the story yet. So, but Brian's saying that Cardinal looks just amazing. I cannot wait to get that in hand. Everything about him. Who's doing the soft goods for Sparrow?
That's Eric Harker Customs.
Oh,
freaking
nice.
Excellent. You're familiar.
Yeah. Yes. He did one of my Sir Gerard soft goods, and that's amazing stuff, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats to them because they do
I
do great work.
Yeah,
Such
I
a
was talking to
treat.
him for a while, and he was telling me when I was asking him for that custom, he said, "This might be my last commission because I'm doing something, but I can't speak of it." Now we know.
Now we know.
Because I'm working with this disorganized guy who's taking up way too much of my time. I say that because I was treated to, and I think we're gonna take a look later, but I was treated a little bit of just like getting to see the process of this stuff. I love seeing the process behind these toys that we love. And I've never been able to see a person doing soft goods at this level. So like, you know, with C. Jessam, they do like amazing stuff. I would love to be a fly on the wall and sort of see how they do their patterns and their sewing and fabric choices. So for this one, just in the position that I'm in, I was able to kind of get a glimpse of that. And man, I was totally geeking out and just, so I agree with you. This stuff is beautiful. I will say that the human thing is a little tricky for me. Not so much that wasn't, you know, I'm actually really happy the way the story works out and how it's tied to our Earth and stuff. I'll just say that there. And knowing how that this was going to happen, like, okay, it's cool. There's just I got to admit though, there is something a little bit about, you know, you've got these characters and they're animals that we can all kind of like see ourselves in. It's like, oh, and that's and Jason's been all about that. He's been saying, you know, Pale is the He-Man, the whatever, the Snake Eyes, the character that you sort of put yourself into as the fan, and you kind of go in this heroic journey. There is something to be said about when they turn human, and you're like, oh, that's just different from what I had in my brain. But I'm down with it, and you know, I'm happy to like have. I think Brian, you said it, man. The diversity of what we have going on.
Oh, yeah.
Just like all these different animals, sizes, heights, soft goods now. Like it's just we haven't even like begun to like. There was a lot revealed during the Kickstarter, as folks, you know, paying attention know, like, oh, we haven't seen this. Like we haven't seen this in prototype form or these accessories or whatever. There's a ton more.
Yeah.
I definitely like. As we move forward, I'm hoping to get as many picks and to share along the way. That's just, you know, a lot of people are always asking like, where's this picture? Like, show us this in process. And I totally get that because I want that too. It's also like, these are people doing their jobs and like their job isn't to, you know, stop every now and then and snap a picture. So, but yeah, good things to come. I was, you know, I'm just always curious to hear how people respond to this stuff.
My eyes keep darting over to those claws from Blight. Those look pretty cool, man.
Last year's Legions Con, when I was walking by the AWOK booth and I saw, I can't remember his name, but the elephant. Oh, he just totally stopped me in my tracks and saw some of the other prototypes and things. And as soon as I saw that elephant, I was like, I have to go back. And since then, I've gotten every single figure and looked at the stuff coming in the future waves, and just every figure is amazing. I mean, there's not one that I can't say I need that figure. I say every single one. I just can't wait to see even what's coming past that. It's going to be next level stuff.
Right there.
Yeah, I can't possibly count how many times I think I said this over the weekend, but I met a lot of people, hung out Friday night, hung out Saturday, was talking with a lot of people, and I just kept saying the same thing over and over, is that I kind of feel like everybody has gotten a good feel for, like, in the toy community that goes to cons, that goes to these shows, who buys like we do and watches these types of streams and, you know, watches reviews. I think they have a pretty good understanding of what AWOK is. I think people have already kind of made their minds up one way or the other about what AWOK is, for good or for bad. I think people have like one idea. You know, they kind of, with the exception of the three big brute scale apes that you guys have been released. The idea is that I think people only know AWOK is like the 6-inch scale line of action figures that all have the exact same body. So whether it's a cat or whether it's an ape, you're getting the same buck, right? And people have they know that. But what's coming? The brawlers, the speedsters, the females, the birds. With what's coming next, this is that punch that the line needs now. And I think every line goes through this. I'm not saying that, you know,
No,
that AWOK is any kind of different than anything else. You know, like you have to get your feet off the ground, you know, like you have to, you know, get, you know, your stable feet underneath you is what I'm trying to say. Before you gotta walk before you can run. But I really feel like what's coming next in the next year, the next 2 years from AWOK is going to be that knockout punch that if you thought you knew what AWOK was, like, hold on to your pants, because what's coming is going to blow you away. And this is like that next evolutionary step, like when, you know, kind of like when Mythic Legion says, okay, we're going to increase the range of articulation in the chest and the arms, you know, or we're going to create a whole new race that you guys are going to get a whole new library of parts, or anything like that. Any kind of example where you could think when your favorite toy line took that turn and you're like, oh, okay. And I think that's what's coming. I think that's what we're on the cusp of. And I feel that it is so super exciting. And I think it's just the right level of invigoration that this line is going to need to like explode and then suck in a whole bunch of new people, you know. And I kind of feel like, man, the community is really going to explode when this next wave or two hits.
I'm super happy to hear you sort of say that and pick up on that, because that a lot of folks don't quite understand why Spearow went back for you know, Primal Series 2 and why that was such a big deal to do another big Kickstarter. But really it was because like the to take it to that next level that you are now naming is happening. That's exactly the idea. The first one, you named it, 2 different bucks, right? The majority of which were on what we're sort of called the hero / original buck, and the bruiser buck, which is the big dude. And then all of a sudden now we've got the brawlers, the reptiles, right? And it's just like the women. It's just like that was a bunch of stuff. And then sort of at the end of it was like, oh yeah, by the way, there's also what do we call them? There's a female, the speedsters, oh, the birds, right? And then the giants, which is Mamba. And then there was other thing that was teased, Zwar and Vitus, what we're calling the heavies, right? The hippo and the rhino. So like that's a lot of tooling. But it's you totally picked up on it from the front end of just like, wow, we're going to these amazing places, and really this is it maturing and becoming, you know, what it should be. And you're totally right. Yeah, they're not alone in that. Like I'm super excited about everything that every new Legion's announcement. We're gonna get one on Wednesday, like because you know there's like the parts library in just the last year and a half just went and the size of things. So like it's a great time. All that to say, save your money and get ready to spend it.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah, and even in the comics there are a couple of instances where we see armored characters, you know, a fully armored, you know, character in particular that I know many of us want. And so like now that we're getting humans, you know, we could potentially have armored knights. Going back to the humans real quick, William Houston did clarify. He wanted to know, do we know how tall those human characters are going to be?
In terms of the toys?
Yes.
Or okay, I mean, you can kind of see. So the birds, that bird isn't particularly shorter, but maybe Adam, if he can, I don't know if he has those measurements on hand, but they're not that much different height-wise from the original buck. They might be a little shorter, but maybe Adam, I don't know if he has those measurements on. He's on.
Yeah, if absolutely.
Not,
they look comparable.
Not,
I mean, I don't remember that bird being like drastically larger. I mean, his hair does kind of poke up in the middle, but he seemed to be in scale with every other AWOK figure there.
Let me do a pitch real quick. We are trying, like, so I actually do the updates on the Kickstarter, and originally we're trying to do it like Wednesdays, AWOK Wednesdays. Definitely been lots of moments where I've just had to pause. If we don't get an answer now, and even if we get an answer now, I'll make sure that that's in this next week's, I'll just make a quick statement. It's tricky because we want to use that for Kickstarter updates, but you know, because we don't want to keep like mixing, I guess, like all these other things. Yeah.
Humans will be the same size as the apes. All parts will be interchangeable.
Yeah, you can see that he's wearing, that's all original armor. Like that. Yep. There's actually one thing in there. No, that's all kind of older and original, except for maybe the belt, but the belt is going to be coming in another figure as well. But it's all interchangeable. Height wise, there's your answer.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to mix and match too with the different armors. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're getting, yeah, it's gonna be fantastic.
Good.
I'm so excited.
I'm happy to hear that. I know you want to move the show, but I'm just curious, since you were there, Mark, what was your because these are pictures. Like
Oh my
what
gosh.
would you say something that stood out in person that we don't quite get?
For me, really, it was just, what was so interesting was seeing how, like, specifically more with the human pale here, because like you're talking about the armor, we've seen a lot of that armor on the gray skinned guy, the human version, whether we're going to call it Kali or Blight or whatever.
Blight. It's definitely Blight.
Blight. Yeah. Let's just call him Blight from now on. So, like, for me, it was just like, okay, those legs are different. Like the thighs are different. Like the body is, it's like I could see in there, I could see pale. And having read the comics, like I know the deal there, but I was like, I could see him in there, but it looked like this is like a wholly brand new figure. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, just the popping and swapping and the things, like the possibilities, just like that really blew me away to see, like, oh man, like this is happening. Like this is actually going down. And to see Merrill in person is such a treat, because like the Ravens, like I saw the Raven character on display somewhere, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, like it's probably Legion's Con. I think I saw it. It looked incredible. And then like the painting on, like, and I've said this in my reviews, like the painting on like the weapons, like the Gladiator Pale and the Gladiator Atreyu are incredible. And like what Rob's talking about with all of the weapons for Blight there, those weapons just look so beautiful in person, like the metallics, and pictures really don't do these justice. Like when you see them in person, I think immediately, like you're, a lot like with the Bushido figures, is you're like, holy crap, like I know these characters as like feral animals, but now you're seeing like completely different things from Sparrow, and I just think that it's incredible. Like I'm just kind of blown away. I'm kind of speechless. But it took me a while. Like I was just sitting there, just like every time I had like a lull in like walking around, I would just stop and go back to the Sparrow booth, and I would just like, those guys were busy. I hope they had a really good weekend, because just about every single time I went over there, they were making sales. And so I hope they had a great weekend.
That's great.
And I was just like, I wasn't bothering them. I was just sitting there staring at all of these and the prototypes. I would go back and I would just stare at these, because these are the ones that's like more closely like getting ready for release or whatever. They just looked incredible. I don't want to miss this. I want to go back. Solo Center, thank you so very much. That's incredible. Just wanted to show some support for what you guys are doing with both here and with the Tribe episodes. Really want Sparrow to succeed and need more of these to get the lore out there. Need more of these to get the lore out there. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope you're Solo Center. I hope you're reading the comics. I hope you've read them all, because it's incredible. It's a fantastic story. I love it, and I've said many times, it deserves an animated show. It's that good. It would be incredible. Let's see here. William Houston said the pictures made them look tall, maybe 7-inch, but that sounds good. Glad I think they're going to be in line with what you're expecting. And then highly articulated. These are the figures planned that will use the legs on the human pale before we get the human pale. Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. There are legs planned that will use the legs on the human pale before we get the human pale. Okay, let me go back to that picture, because I'm thinking he may be talking about maybe some of the speedsters. Is that correct? Is that possible?
Because the clothing.
Yes. Yeah, and then you would just replace the foot. So like you would have a different foot that would pop on. Great. That's really cool.
And I did comment, it's tricky. So I get where, I'm not trying to like turn William off at all, so it's funny, because if you actually measure these guys, they do stand about 7 inches.
Okay.
So I want that. I don't know if you've just never noticed or whatever, but they're big. That said, the humans will match these guys. So
very cool. Oh, not the speedster legs. Okay. He's keeping me on my toes this morning. Well, I can't wait. Yeah, so we are gonna move on to some of our picks from the community this week. Some of those members are even here in the chat with us, so it's always great for that. Thankfully, Andy and Jeff did send me their picks, even though they were not able to join us today. So we're gonna kind of just look at what they sent in. This was Andy's pick of the week, and this comes to us by RC Gore 76. I absolutely love this. I love working in the plunderlings in there. But look at Kali, just like so nonplussed. Like he is just like he's had enough of the day. Like he's been hearing, like I just kind of read like he's like been hearing complaints from his constituencies all day, and he's just tired. And this little guy shows up and he's like, "Look what I found," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." I just love this. I love that grassy throne he's sitting on. That's so dope. If anybody has anything else to share, just hop right on in there. Otherwise, I'll just go on to the next one.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. I love the colors. We've got I just noticed Swig hanging out in the background. The purple's kind of all blended together. We've got a little Swig back there. Terrence is happy. We've got a purple.
And you're right, Kali's face. He just looks like I don't care.
Yeah. He's like you came all this way to show me a frog. Thank you. I appreciate it. Brian, I love yours. These guys are ready for summer. Look at this.
Yeah. That was the 4th of July. Those are good ones.
I don't know if that's a little Fisher Price barbecue set or whatever that is, but it looks like they got their Hawaiian shirts or shades, and they're just ready to grill and go down the slide. Maybe there's a pool behind them, and it's summertime.
I want to know where Pale got that shirt. This is from Wesley K 1701. I don't know like where this barbecue grill set is from, but I have seen my friends track it down here locally. Maybe like a year ago, people were looking for it. I think they were saying that they were finding them at like Five and Below. They're kind of like just little, like it's like a barbecue set, comes with like 50 different pieces of like tongs and food and all kinds of stuff. And I remember my local friends were tracking it down for various photo shoots.
You may have borrowed that shirt from Chuckles.
I know, right? Yeah, it does look very, but I love the lighting here and like the depth, so you're seeing like the background's all blurred out back there. It looks nice.
That's not an Alf shirt. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh man. Yeah. I wonder what meat that is that they've
posted up. I did say that shirt is from Alf. So you're right.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it looks like Alf's.
Oh, yeah.
That was the NECA version from the animated show.
Nice.
Ah!
Look at that. Very cool. Yeah, the Tiny Teenies set from Five and Below are great. Hey, good. Now I know. Brick, this is yours. So you can walk us through this one. Again, a second one from RC Gore.
I was gonna say I was trying to spread it out and like trying to show other things, but like still, RC Gore does great stuff. What I appreciate about it is that this is how I collect. Like I've got Crucibles next to AWOK, next to Plunderlings, next to Masterverse, but I love how it just you see them all together and it works, especially with the lighting to kind of like take away maybe some of the paint style differences. It's just cool. It's cool to see these characters sort of interacting in this fantasy world, and I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes us back to like when we were kids, because for me as an adult, like I kind of lost this ability to mix the toy lines. I kind of grew out of that. I like keeping all of my stuff kind of separated out on their separate shelves, except for when it comes to like 80s stuff, because everything behind me is all 80s related. But yeah, but as a kid, this is how we played, right? Like we put all of our characters together.
We should all just hang out. As a kid, I guess I'm still a kid.
Yeah, that's the great thing about AWOK figures is they can mix in. If you're like a toy mixer, they can mix in with so many different lines. So it's the playability factor.
Look at Rob.
Especially as
I got like everything on my desk right now, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, Brian. Because and Britt can attest to this too. Is being a designer, there are certain colors, there are certain tones of color that when you put a certain like tone of gray next to warm colors Like the gray takes on a warm tone, and there's a certain kind of gray that when you put next to cool colors, that same gray could take on a cool tone. And so I kind of feel that way about AWOK. You know, they do look a little quote unquote cartoony, but you put them next to, like, say, a Plunderling, they look a little more realistic. You put them next to a Savage Crucible, they look a little more cartoony, but they kind of like, they're right on that nice little edge to where they can lean one way or lean the other, and they kind of blend in. I think probably the perfect toy line I think that they blend the best with for me is Masterverse. Like, you can just literally, and not only in the way that they're sculpted and painted, but in their aesthetic, but also like the I mean, they look like animal creatures that, like, He-Man and his team, like, wandered into the forest, and there was like this team of lion people that lived over here, or this team of apes that lived over here. Like you could totally see that even in like the in-universe lore. It just,
You are not wrong, sir. You are not wrong.
They work out so great with so many. Let's see. I do want to catch up. Oh, look, Greg's feeling good enough to like join us. Hey, Smurb, rocking your shirt, man. Sending good vibes your way. Let's see here. Highly Articulated responded, "No, William, they are not. They are not hard to ship. They are very hard to ship and guarantee they arrive undamaged. We have started bringing them to cons though, and they will be in trade paperback of issues 1 through 5 soon." That's really cool. It's good to know.
Yeah, it's
Monarch
the hard
Prime
copy comics.
Thank you so much for the super chat. It's super appreciated. I got really lucky. I was at a random toy show last year. I think it was Charlie's Collectibles. There was like a mythic meetup at Charlie's Collectibles, which is somewhere near Atlanta. And me and a friend of mine went, and our good buddies, the Ginger Kid Collectibles was there, and they had set up a table, and they were doing like a street team event, I believe. And I was buying some stuff from them, and he had a whole bunch of AWOK, and I was picking up some figures that I needed, and he had a bunch of hard copies of the comic that he had gotten through, I think, Diamond or something. I can't remember where he had gotten them from, or maybe they were like pre-order incentives from Kickstarter. I don't remember, but I basically bought everyone he had, and I got the I felt very fortunate. I got the Gorillas cover tribute,
Nice.
which I have since come to learn is pretty hard to come by. And so I actually have that cover of issue. I believe it was issue 1. They did a Gorillas tribute cover to the album, which was incredible. And I will not ever be getting rid of that thing. I will not. It is great. Let's see here. Let's catch back up. Yeah, Greg says it's great to see so many wonderful people in one place. Larry's Geeky World. Hi, everyone. So let's get back into it. Jeff's pick of the week was from our good friend,
Cool.
Jersey Shore Juggernaut. And I just absolutely love this. A bunch of AWOK hanging out on a branch. I love the light bloom coming in between the legs. But what I got to really say here, what stands out to me the most, is this red armor on the orange guy. I have never thought to do that. And I think that looks so dope.
Oh, that's great.
That's a cool like strike force. A cool strike force with the same like matching uniform or whatever. Love that.
Yep.
Armor sets, baby.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's like Pale has like the standout, like he's clearly the leader here, and then everybody else has sort of like matching gear. I love it. But that orange figure just stands out to me. I love that figure so much. I think I need another one for sure, because I only have one. So I need to go make a purchase. All right. We have mine. Oh man, I'm so excited for this because I don't know if everybody has seen this or not, but I did share it in the tribe chat, and that is this custom from Simone Barreto. Mm-hmm. And he said, okay, it was really hard not to see this, not to post this before he was done. But Kona is what they call when they need a night stalker. He wears the pelt of Kimba, who he slew in the mountains before the tribes were unified, and is feared and respected hunter in the land. Big thanks to Brian George for the inspiration of the Craven vest. It was the last piece that brought it all together. That rug really brings the room together. I saw this custom, and I had shared it with the group before I even realized that, I needed a pick for the episode. And then when I needed the pick, I was like, oh, I'm sharing this for sure, because this thing is just incredible. So, okay, I'm I'm trying to. So the bracers and the leg pieces, that looks like that's from like the Beast Man from like Masterverse. No, what is that from?
It's from the McFarlane Page Punchers sort of
Batman.
caveman. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
some of it's. I think some
you're
of it's
right.
a mix between the Batman and the Robin.
Hmm.
I might be
Yep,
wrong on the Robin part though. Those might actually still be Batmans. I
you're
forget.
absolutely correct. That
Same with
is
the belt.
100% where that's from. Yep. I
Looks
I was gonna make
great.
a
Damn.
custom with that. I actually bought
Simone.
that figure and pulled all the pieces out, but yeah, I need to do that. And the paint on the Craven vest is just
Yeah, that came
That's
out
amazing.
pretty good, man.
this is incredible. Like
amazing
I
job.
want to track this down. I need to see what I did with those parts because I do have this that I bought that Batman figure specifically to try to make like a mythic custom, and I don't think I never made it, so I still have those parts somewhere. I need to track them down because I see a custom coming up. And then Rob, oh man, anytime somebody brings Vero Atlas into the mix, it just makes me so happy. He's my favorite character.
Mhm.
Rob's pick here from T Belay. I love
Beautiful.
this.
The awesome T-Belay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got that Conan cape, and like, I mean,
That's
Vera
exactly
Atlas
what I
is one of
thought.
my favorite, if not one, like the best fucking.
He is my
AWOK.
favorite for sure.
No, it's
100%.
enough to get one from Adam, but like, if nobody has these, get them because I think they're like selling out quick. And
Yeah.
it's a must-have for the collection if you don't have it.
Yep. I put him in the hands of a new AWOK collector at Joe Fest. I had a friend of mine who was there, who I met there. We had talked online before, and we walked over. We were just kind of like walking around and chatting, and he was like, I know you guys talk about Sparrow all the time. He's like, I'm gonna pull the trigger. Like, let's walk over to their table and like, who is somebody I should buy? I went right to the table and picked up Vero Atlas, and I put him in his hands. Like, this is like, start here. And they had him. They had him at the show. I was so happy they had him at the show. I was like, start here. This guy is incredible. I was like, I don't really know all of his lore. I don't know anything about him. I was like, but I keep telling everybody correctly or incorrectly, he's the only wizard that I know of in the line. So I'm like, dude, like that just makes him boss right there. Like he's the only wizard. Like I've heard people say he's actually a bad guy. I've heard people say he's a good. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. So in my head canon, I get to make it up.
Brick is smiling because he knows something.
Yeah, he does know something.
Well, I was just gonna say one of the women. Actually, this is known. We know that one of the women has some magical powers, and in fact, we've seen on her effects pieces. If you go back to the Kickstarter, take a look at the women figures. Look at their accessories, and you'll see something magical's happening in there.
Notice that.
Okay.
But back to
Mother Mala.
Tomas's.
She's got
Oh,
like
go
a
ahead.
shield and that Mother Mala figure is like an ice shield and a fire sword.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
magic. There's magic in this world. There's stuff going. But I will also just say that this picture, I love it. The lighting on that jewel there is really great, and the sort of angle of him. I really, really, really like this.
Yeah,
Beautiful
this
shot.
looks so good. Like, I mean, I use Photoshop every day, and I'm sitting here sort of thinking that may be like actually lit. Like that looks so good. Like to me, like if somebody said, "Oh, yeah, that's custom. We put an LED in there," I'd be like, 100%. I totally believe you because that looks very, very authentic. Like
I assume he's shining a light through it.
I put Blight's armor on Vero Atlas, and it looks pretty amazing, dude. You gotta try that. Yeah, it really makes it.
That's got to pop because he's got the white background and that. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. I'm going to have to bust out Vero Atlas this afternoon and do some popping and swapping. I think it's time. I haven't messed around with AWOK in a while. I need to. Yeah, Thanos Copter says, yep, man, I can't wait for the ladies. Absolutely.
Hey, ladies.
The Kali's, woman or no or male? Okay. All right. Terrence is
Mala,
always.
not Jadu, but Mala.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Monarch Primes. Yeah. You give me the idea of a purple cape for Vero. Yeah, absolutely. Like, dude, the minute I put a cape on Vero, I was like, this dude is transformed.
Folks often don't realize that he's actually appeared in the comics as a tiny cameo.
Very tiny
cameo. So this is all to tie in with what we're saying. Go check out those comics.
Go check out the comics.
softgoods.com.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to do that.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do is we also wanted to touch base. If you're into figure photography, if you're just starting out, or if you're a master at it, like whatever your level is, you can get in on the fun. Brian George, Endless Fables, and Vaz Picks, Vaz_Picks. You can see their names down here at the bottom in this neon green. They do tireless work every month to put together a AWOK collab. And this month is no different. So he asked me would I take some time and talk about this. I said absolutely. And so with the July Animal Warriors of the Kingdom weekly collab is going to be due the 30th at 11:59 p.m. The post will be July 2nd, will be a team up with a patriotic character. So think about like Superman, Captain America, Wonder Woman, Sergeant Slaughter, whoever you want. That will that will be the first. And so that is due by, I guess, June 30th at midnight for that post. And then let's see, we have due the 7th of July from at 11:59 p.m. We have it'll be the Superman crossover. It's pretty self-explanatory, just an AWOK with a Superman figure. If you didn't already do Superman.
I can't wait to see what they do with that one, man. It's gonna be
Is going to be fun. Due on the 14th by 11:59 p.m. The post on the 16th will be photographer's choice. Do whatever you want. That's up to you. That makes it pretty easy. And then the 23rd, July 23rd, will be the who is in your fantastic AWOK 4. I love this. This is brilliant. At least one character needs to be an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure. Try to keep the characteristics of the team. So Mr. Fantastic would be your smart character. Visible Woman would be your defensive character. Your Human Torch would be your hothead. And the Thing would be your strength character. That's really cool. I think that's going to be a standout for sure. The post for the 30th will be photographer's choice again. And again, if you're interested in participating, just hit up Endless Fables or Vaz_Picks or one of the other collaborators and definitely get in there and post your pics. Brick, what is the hashtag for people to find past? It's I always seem to forget what that is.
It's hashtag AWOK Collab 52.
That's right. Because they do this every week, 52 weeks
weekly.
in the year.
Yeah.
Right. Sweet. Okay. So our next segment here, we're going to get into a post that Brick himself give us about the character of the Cardinal of Merrill. I'm just going to, put up some of these images and you can kind of like walk us through your update. But first I did want to show off if anybody has seen, this is what your post started out with. I love the design here. And we're going to be talking about the character of Merrill. The stringed, transforming, loot bow, wing attachments, gripping feet, alternate head,
so
extra
good.
hands.
Yeah, so this
is really
took
cool.
Me back. It took me back because, so again, please check out that Primal Series 2 campaign on Kickstarter. Check the updates because that's like trying to do that pretty regularly and that you'll get a lot of information there. But doing that, and based on some of the comments, people were asking questions. And I was like, oh yeah, it's in there. But I realized those photos are so small. Kickstarter is not the best interface for looking at stuff. So I went back and kind of culled through photos. And what you're seeing here is sort of like I tried to roll out some of the earliest photos we saw. So the one you just saw was like some early treatments when I was working with Spiro on like, how do we standardize how we're going to show off each figure and name what it comes with and all that. So you see that, you kind of see his little grippy feet down there. So this was real early concept art, and you can kind of see the changes too over time as a character moves through the process. Then you move into the next one. You've got that. This is the key art that you'll see on the posters, on the boxes, etc. Of communicating the personality as well as the overall look of the figure. You'll notice like there have been some changes color wise, etc. And then we got to see the prototypes, and I kind of did a quick mashup of like the different heads. So some folks I know were commenting on like, oh, that head is too goofy. Well, again, these are characters. They have personalities. So that communicates that. But then, if you wanted them to be a little bit more serious, there's the alt head there. What this picture, I think it was important that this was actually one of the main reasons I wanted to redo this post, was because the Kickstarter post had a lot of the Harker custom soft goods, and folks were asking, well, what's underneath? What's underneath? So that's what's underneath those awesome soft goods, which is funny because you're like, oh yeah, we're going to cover it all up in soft goods, but look at all the detail and all that armor and everything. There's a lot going on underneath that. Like that alone, if I got that, I'd be stoked.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I just want to, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do want to point
go
out
for it.
Kevin Hamilton. Yes, I think there's a missed opportunity not referring to him as a bardinal. I think you're absolutely correct.
Well done.
That's brilliant. Brilliant.
It's probably in there as a typo, because that happens a lot. But yes. And there's just another shot of him. You know,
he looks so good. I agree with you. If that's what I got out of the package, I would be so freaking happy. Like, that's incredible.
Is he going to come with the gripping feet?
That's the plan, yeah. That hasn't changed.
So cool. Yeah, if you have him hanging with somebody like that.
It's a tricky thing. It's like, yeah, I wonder what you'll definitely need flight stands, right? But you can, you know, it'll be interesting to kind of see what people do with it.
Well, yeah, too, because like, you know, again, I don't want to, you know, keep like teasing the comic, but like in the newest issue, like there is a winged character that we see carrying things with his feet. And so it's like, you could definitely use this same head, you know, well, not maybe the goofy one, but more the more, you know, serious looking head and those feet and have him on a flight stand. Like I definitely see a purpose for it for sure.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'm going to defend that quote unquote goofy face till today, but I totally.
I love it. No, I love it because it makes me
just
think
like
of
imagine
this.
the psychotic smiling as you're carrying someone or whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we kind of, I don't know if we got out of order, but like maybe like here's the next image if you want to talk about.
Yeah, so this was just to show a little bit. Again, you see the unarmored body, that the sling with a little knife attached, etc. You can kind of see the wings. Oh, that's a weird thing in the top left. Interesting. But if you take a look at the soft goods there, that was the sort of original version of the thing, or like an early version. You'll notice it doesn't have the poofy sleeves. It's a different, brighter fabric. I think there's a little bit difference in the color. I love to kind of see that process thing.
This I thought was super interesting.
Me too. See, we're in the same vein. Like I'm the guy who bought the DVD for the behind the scenes director commentary.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But yeah,
I'm the annoying person. Like you don't want to watch Lord of the Rings with me because I'm like, did you know?
Take a look at all.
I love this. This is great because I mean, there's not just one red. Like, there's like there's a lot that goes into this. This is incredible.
Weave. It's texture. It's all that stuff. So this is Eric sending Jason like, hey, check these out. Where you at? And sending back like, check. And you matching it with like the obviously the colors and everything.
Yeah, and actually, you want to mix up your tones as well. Like you want to have like, I think it looks very interesting when you have some cool reds next to some warm reds. Like you get to all of that variance comes up with something unique. So yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And then so early sort of fit test, but also like how does this work with the overlay? So that was again an early version. You can tell again by the color and the sleeves, no poofy sleeves, which by the way, like the pleating on that is such a challenge at that scale. And as someone who sews, it's hard. And I'm blown away by like this alone. Again, if I just got this, I'd be like, oh, this is great. But then they just keep pushing it the standard.
The way the collar stands up out of the overlaid armor is impeccable. Like that is just such a great touch because I think it harkens back to this so closely. Like that's just kind of part of it, having that sort of like popped up collar the way like a rock star would almost in a way. I love that. I think that this looks incredible. Like that's impeccable work.
And then there you go you can kind of see the wings a little bit. We didn't have like any other like with the wings attached or anything, but those are all Yeah. Anyway, you can see it. The wings attach. There's an attachment at the bicep piece, and then there's an attachment on the via the
Oh,
forearm.
nice.
The
Nice.
vulture in the back is a magic user too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
Yes, he's death magic necromancer.
Yeah.
And then, hey, Rob, look right over here on the right, just above
Yeah,
the
that's
blue
sweet.
pants. Just above the blue pants. Just want to
He's got the
point that
goggles
out.
for your steampunk, cyberpunk ninja, and then there will be a non-goggled head too. Love this stuff. Patterns, how that's all going to work. Man, again, the stitching on this, it's like you're really working small. So that's what trips me out about the pleating, because you got to get all those folds in there and sew them, and like it's really cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's not just cutting and sewing something at that scale. It is to make sure that you're picking out a fabric that looks realistic at that scale. Like you can get a leather material at your local hobby store, but it's not going to be scaled down to actually look like leather would look at 1/12 scale, or the stitching. And that's what separates like an okay soft goods from a fantastic one, is the people who get that, the Mezcos, the Hot Toys, the companies that are out there that are working at their specific scales. It's getting the pattern and the texture for those scales right as well.
Before you move through, if you take a look at the bottom picture, the sort of way that the around the torso and waist bends, if you remember from the buck, you can kind of see the buck on the right there. There's a lot of that V shape. So I love that it's truly like tailored, but also it raises some new issues with fit. And it's not just fit, like how is it going to look on the product that's shipped, but we take this stuff off. We're poppers and swappers. And so there was also that next sort of design challenge of how do we make it so that the consumer can take it on and off easily without us having to worry about, this doesn't work, it's broken or whatever. So there's a lot that goes into this work, right? I love to, labor's the most expensive piece, because human beings touching a raw material is what turns it into a beautiful thing. And so shout out to Harker. You can kind of see the Velcro. You'll see the Velcro kind of strip down there, and we'll see it in the next one too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, this was so this is more of the more finished look. This is like how closer to the production sample, right?
Yep. Again, just shout out to everybody, Harker for sure, and Jason for figuring out how to do this in a way that's going to work for production. But like, whenever I see a Legion's figure, or whenever I see this kind of stuff, and it goes off to a factory, and then people are like replicating it, and then we get like by the whatever hundreds of thousands. To me, I still can't wrap my head around how that all just turns out so cleanly. So like, it's one thing for Eric to do, and he knows the work that's put into it, and then to think that this is going to be done in the tens of thousands is wild to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way this looks. So I love the idea of when you put the fastener, or where it comes apart in the back, right? Then you no longer have that in the front to put around the head. So I guess it looks like the compromise here was then you have to sew the collar closed at the front. So this looks like the head's probably going to come off. You put the head on, you put the cloak over the head, fasten it around, and then put the head on. So it's like those little things, having to work through the logistics of how things are going to work when, you make that decision to, well, let's move the fastener to the back, right? So that it has a cleaner look on the front with the armor and the overlay. It's just, man, that's just fantastic.
And I know I'm harping on this, but if you go, you can see here, you can see, just look at those sleeves. That's a lot of pleating, and to do that so cleanly, and then you've got the hem on the at the end there, just like it's really amazing to me. But
it looks really good too with that color of brown, that warmer brown tones that are in the belt, because I think that that's going to look great if you put it on another like if you take him off of this, you're seeing a lot of reds, and your mind is like blending all of these reds together. But if you then take this what is decidedly a red tunic off of him and you put it on like an orange character or a brown character or a gray character, it's going to take on other characteristics, other color characteristics. So, I think this will look good on a number of different AWOK characters if you want to pop and swap, not just a red bird. Looking really good. And then I think we see that same from the front and the side here of just how it lays. And it looks like maybe the collar has expanded a little bit. So it almost looks hood-like, which I love. Like characters with hoods, just,
It's
I'm a
amazing
Star Wars
to me.
character. I love it. So
this is my always in every stream. It's like, let's just pause and appreciate where we are at with toys, man. Because this is
I
great
know, right?
stuff. Look at that.
Oh man. Like I look down at Rob every once in a while just to see his face, just to see, like I can just see gears turning, and he's just like, what can I do with this? Like, what am I gonna do when I get this in hand? Like, who is this? Where am I gonna reuse this?
Funny because I'm on my computer and I keep trying to zoom in on my
check out Brick's Instagram post, man. Yeah, and you can zoom in on those. Yeah, for sure. And then what looks to be the final look that we saw at Joe Fest, because this is how he looked on display there at Joe Fest, and so, I got to tell you guys, he looks so good in person.
I will say impressive. That some of our the most hardcore of fans saw this and like, oh man, you commented on the Kickstarter, can you go back to the different colors and stuff from the original? And I totally hear it. As I said in my response, like I tend to kind of defer to the creatives involved because see the bright blue pants and all. Mm-hmm. So I totally
you can
get
see
it.
The pants definitely changed from
And so I talked with Jason about it, and he's like, yeah, how do we? Because sometimes we're not getting that narrative. It's just a matter of, so it's helpful when actually people offer that feedback. I go back to Jason. Oh yeah, hey, what's your answer to this? And we'll try and get it in the next update. But also like Adam, who is beautifully displaying his love for the English language and spelling pedantry in the chat currently. When we do the monkey businesses and the sort of the AWOK talks, particularly the monkey business, when we go live, that's when we'll try and also, address some of those questions. Get like, if we can nail Jason down, like, sit down, let's talk. Here's some questions. People want to know about colors and all that. So I just want to throw that out there that like, it's not that it's unheard. It's not that it's unaddressed. So continue to share the feedback and the questions. Try and be polite. Try and recognize the work and the thought that goes into this stuff, before you go firing off and say, this sucks. But ask questions, inquire, and we're definitely happy to try and address it and have a conversation. Because I get it. Like there's, the pants are kind of gray compared to some of the earlier stuff. All of these are creative decisions. I just like to know, well, what was the thought process? And we'll see where it goes from there.
I think the black pants look better than the blue.
I think it looked better too.
Yeah.
It's so hard to, it's all subjective. And
yeah. And I don't remember from seeing it in person, and I'm just, re-looking at these images now, I don't know if those pants are going to be a different shade than his skin tone from his feet. I hope that they are, because I would like, from that not to look like, I always do the squint test as a character designer. I always squint to see like what, and when I squint, it almost looks like red knee pads. Right. It looks like the pants and the feet are the same color. So, maybe like a little dry brush or something to bring out a little different color. I know that, they've probably looked at the coloring of actual cardinals, and, I know that the coloring of like a male cardinal's vastly different from a female cardinal. This is definitely a male. Females are more brown and have like less coloring. But, I don't know what their feet look like offhand, but, just something that kind of differentiates those two. I was going to ask you, Brick, do we know those gauntlets look sculpted on? Are they sculpted to the bird? They're not?
No, they're not. Those will definitely come off, and there's we're gonna, they're gonna work around the straps and stuff to be able to get those wings in behind it.
No way. Those look so sculpted on. Like that fit is so good.
There is so much. Yeah, there's so much that, again, to name it, they work so hard to really kind of do some troubleshooting and figuring things out. And sometimes things get missed, and there's always like you could have done this better and you could have done this differently, for sure. But I'm always intrigued by, how much they they work on this stuff.
Yeah, it's so true. What looks in good, like what something that looks good in comics may look terrible in an action figure, and vice versa. Like, yeah, changes always have to be made. Like, it's just, like, unless it takes a special type of designer and a team of creatives to translate something. I mean, look how long it took us in movies to get Wolverine in a yellow and blue costume.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To where it didn't look silly. And nobody remembers it being goofy. Like, there is nothing goofy about Wolverine's costume in that movie. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just nothing. It's just, sometimes it just takes a special group of people to get it there. I agree with Vine Jungle Figure Factory. He looks killer. Absolutely. 100. Heinrich says female cardinals are a dirty mustard yellow. I will tell you guys real quickly a little story that I spoke about yesterday is that, I was talking with Greg last night before bed. That's what it was. So I didn't say this publicly, but I lost my dad about 10 years ago, fairly suddenly, right at Christmas time. And my dad's favorite team of all time, his favorite sports team, his favorite baseball team was the San Francisco Giants. But my dad grew up in Southern Illinois in that St. Louis, Missouri area, Southern Illinois, Upper Missouri. He loved the Cardinals look. He always said, I wish I wasn't a Giants fan so I could love the St. Louis Cardinals, because they had the Cardinals sitting on the back of the bat. And I had never seen a Cardinal in real life in my entire life until soon after my dad passed. And soon after my dad passed, we started seeing them in our yard. And every spring, our backyard now is flooded with cardinals, both male and female. And every time we see a cardinal, we say hey to my dad. Me, my wife, my children. It's always, my kids see a cardinal and they immediately yell, hey, pop, pop. And so cardinals have a very special place in my heart because they always remind me of my dad. And so I saw this figure and was just like immediately it makes me think of my dad. So I can't wait to have this guy on my shelf because it is going to be a little piece of my dad on my toy shelf. So dude, thank you, Brick, for coming on and sharing all of the information about Merrill. Clearly he is a hit with the fans. He's a hit with everybody in the chat. I know we're going to be getting because we've already seen, right, the prototype, painted prototype of the Raven. So we know that you guys are going to be using this in other forms, and we're going to be getting, somebody in the chat said this is scratching that cardinal itch or that bird itch from Mythics, because many of us have missed out on the Gothotropolis birds and all that from Mythics, and it scratches that itch. Let's move on. We're gonna move very quickly, and we won't take a long time talking about issue 6 of the comic. We're going to keep it very spoiler free. So if you're worried about spoilers, we're not going to spoil anything, but the new issue is out. And it's really cool. Jason gave me a copy at Joe Fest, so I have my issue right here. We have one of the horrid mongrels,
so cool,
promoted on the back. If you don't have this guy, go get it, because these figures have working jaws. Another update that we've already received. We got hinged jaws, working jaws.
Sorry, it just occurred to me. I've never seen the hardcover. I guess I've seen it in the digital, but that reminds me that, so this is a self-published thing. They originally were self-published, and then they worked through Diamond Distribution, so now they're being distributed. But yeah, there's no ads like I had back in the day. So it's all, there's Spiro ads in it, but it's all, so it's story, and then you get beautiful pictures of
front cover is you got your the people who worked on it, what we call in magazine, we call that the masthead. So we have that. Then back cover is teasing what's coming next, so next issue, and then they promote their figures on the back. Absolutely. We're not going to flip through it. We're not going to spoil it. I will say that issue 6 kicks off the new story arc. So issues 1 through 5 tell a complete story. It tells the story of the state of the world of Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. If you want, if you're not an avid comic book reader and you don't want to keep up with issue to issue and keep up with all that, I think if you just read the first 5, you would have a fantastic understanding of the world, where these characters came from, what their goal is, where they live now, and kind of a good starting point for you to like let your imagination and your headcanon fill in the rest of the story. If you do want to know more, if you do want to know the official lore, issue 6 kicks off a brand new story arc. All I'm going to say is a new faction, a new group of beings enters the scene. A new player has joined the fight, and we don't know their intentions. We don't know if they are, good or bad, or if they're neutral. We don't know how they're going to impact the quote unquote good guys and bad guys that we have now, the different houses. But one of the really cool things about issue 6 is that if you are excited for the characters that we're going to be seeing next, specifically, this wave, a lot of these characters are in the comic. You're going to see some of these, some of the brawlers, the upcoming brawlers. We finally get to see who the Fox character is that I know Rob is so excited about, and the Bulldog character that I'm very excited about. And so you do get to see a lot about that. Bricks, or anything you wanted to add on?
Am I muted? Am I cool?
I don't think so. No, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So nothing huge to add on. Just that yes, this the first 5 issues definitely start there. If you saw what came out of Joe Fest and you're like, what are these human blight? How does that work? Read the first arc. It's broken down in the first couple of pages that sort of explains the world and why there are humans involved in the story. And then when you get to finish 1 through 5 and you get to issue 6, some of that becomes a little bit more clear. You kind of said this, but just take a look at that cover. This is really where all those Primal Series 2 Kickstarter figures are like entering the fray. The Void enters, actually the Void and some of the birds enter in the first one, but like you really start to see them come out to play in the second arc. I don't know. It's just so Jason has said this before, that the dream someday is to get animated shows or animated movies, right? And if you read these, think of like the story arcs, the first issue 1 through 5 as your first series. So that was season 1. This is season 2. The action gets turned up. Season 1 is always establish the world, establish the main dilemma. Season 2 is like, okay, we're in it. What's next? All sorts of fun, new entanglements come up, new characters. Adam in the chat, for some reason, is screaming pirates. I don't know why, but definitely worth checking it out. So,
yeah, for a long time, if I remember correctly, before you guys did a revamp of the website, the figures were released by seasons, right? Was that an original classification? Was there like season 1, wave 1, season 1, wave 2, and then it was like, did I ever remember there seeing something that was like season 2,
you're
wave
saying
1?
that, and I'm thinking that, but I don't remember. Like, I feel like maybe that's one of those, what do they call it, Mandela effects or something? We're in a different universe, maybe in your universe. I forget, but it could be.
Maybe.
He's always thought of it that way, though.
I forget things all the time, but it seems
It was
like
kind of like wave 1, series 2, or something like that.
Was it really? Okay.
Oh, the series
season.
Yeah, the series numbers is sort of about like, okay, this is the new Primal series because we had the old figures, right? This is the Primal series, the larger 6 to 7 inch figures. And so that first sort of set of waves 1 through 4 were series 1, and then Primal series 2 really kicks off with that's all the Kickstarter figures. So
okay, maybe
sort of separate.
Yeah. Well, look, I can't thank you 3 guys enough, Brian, Rob, and Brick, for coming on and spending your Sunday afternoon with me. I really appreciate it. Everybody who was in the chat, oh my goodness, thank you. We had some super chats today. Thank you so very much. That is so appreciated. It's so unnecessary, but always appreciated. You guys in the chat, that's why we get together and we do this. I hope once a month works out for you guys. I think towards the end of the year, things are probably going to speed up enough to where we can go back to, every, like maybe twice a month. We have some exciting content for you guys. The studio is being so generous to this channel and to us to entrust us with some of the content that they're going to be providing for us over the next 6 months. And, you know, we are so supportive of these guys. We want them to do so well. And we know, like we said earlier, that the next wave, 2 waves, 3 waves that are coming are really going to change the course of both, you know, this line and the trajectory of Sparrow Toys as a whole. And you know, the goal of making them a household name, I think, is in reach when it comes to these next few waves. So thank you for everybody being here. Brian, thank you. Rob, thank you. Brick, always thank you for coming on. Your wealth of knowledge and your generosity is always, like, it's so appreciated, man. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, the Spiro team is just really happy that, you know, they're doing, like, really bringing in the fans to kind of like talk about the line and like all the stuff you're doing with the picks of the week and just highlighting the photo collab, like that's really like needed. And I think I'm so happy that you all create a space for that. I will say the guy who's screaming pirates in the chat, he's become really busy with life and family, but he needs to be here when you can schedule it, because he's got loose lips. He'll
Nice.
He'll spit it all out. I you know, so bring him on when he's available, please.
Absolutely, will do, for sure. Yeah, absolutely, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, so thanks to everybody in the chat. We will see you guys either in 3, 4, or 5 weeks. It's going to be about a month from now. We're going to figure it out just so we're not bumping into Greg's New to Mythics, which always happens, you know, every 2 weeks. So we want to make sure we're not bumping into that. But in the meantime, definitely go check out the Toy Addicts video, because there's a lot of good AWOK content in there. You definitely want to check that out. That was a lot of fun. Get out to shows. If you know, check out the socials for Sparrow and see if they're going to, you know, when they're going to be at a show near you, and definitely go and check out their stuff. Like I said, support the guys. If there's figures, if there's holes in your collection, hit up sparrowtoys.com, fill those holes, pick up the comics, grab issue 6. You won't be disappointed. And if you've got everything, grab a t-shirt, maybe grab a figure for somebody who doesn't have one in your life and send it to them and bring them into the tribe. So thank you guys so very much for joining us, and we'll see you in a little bit.